Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about linear equations and function tables. This is another one of those things that you could probably do pretty easily. We just have to show you how to do it. That's why it's in the random folder. Your objective for this video is, as a student, you should be able to use function tables to graph linear equations. We're going to do a really quick review. I'm just going to do a couple of these. Remember that this is a coordinate plane, and anytime we graph on a coordinate plane, we use the x and the y axis. The first number is the x, and the second number is the y. And we also need to know that the x-axis is across from side to side, and the y-axis is up to down. Okay? So we have -2 and 3. So we'll find -2, which happens to be right here, and we're going to go up to 3 on the y-axis, which would be over here, and that's where our dot would be. So we'll go ahead and erase our lines, and we'll place our dot right there. -2, 3. Okay? And we also might have -1, -5. Okay, -1, -5, which happens to be down here at the bottom. You should label it with your point, which is H. The first one was D. Okay, this is just a quick review. Last one, 2, 2. 2 on the X, 2 on the Y, go across, boom, we're done, label it K. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just a quick review of coordinate planes, just in case you forgot. We're going to move on. Okay, so what is a linear equation? Well, a linear equation is an equation whose graph forms a straight line. Okay, so a linear equation, basically it creates a graph, and on that graph, it has a straight line. Right? They are usually shown on a coordinate plane, which is why we just worked on that. And real-life situations of linear equations include the stock market, as well as possibly payments that you make on your car. Okay. Remember the coordinate plane? All right. Remember the origin is at the center. We have the x-axis on the right, and the y-axis goes straight up and down. Okay. Quadrant 1 is on the top right, quadrant 2 on the top left, quadrant 3 on the bottom left, and quadrant 4 on the bottom right. Okay, remember those things, 1, 2, 3, and 4 going counterclockwise. Just a reminder, all right? So what is a function? Well, a function basically gives us a rule, and you put a number in and you get a number out. So this is what we call a function machine. Essentially, you would input an 8, okay? And then they would give you a rule for this function, and you would output a number down here. Okay, well, the rule for this one is +4. Okay, so +4, that's the rule for this function. So +4. So 8 plus 4 would give you the 12, and that would be your rule for the function. Okay, we're going to show you a couple of those. All right. This is what we call an input-output table, or a function table, and it does have a rule. It says add 4, just like the one we just did. So -14 goes in, and what would we do when we go out? So -14 plus 4. Well, -14 plus 4, the -14 is a bill, the 4 is an allowance. You have $4, but you owe me 14. You still owe me $10. Okay? -8 plus 4, that would be -4. -5 plus 4 is -1. 3 plus 4 is 7, and 9 plus 4 is 13. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just finished our first function table. -23, our new rule is subtract 7. So -23 minus 7, those are both bills. You owe me 23 and you owe me 7, you owe me $30. -10 minus 7, you owe me 10 for going to school late, you owe me 7 for not doing your homework, that means you owe me $17. You have $3, but you owe me 7, so you still would have to pay me $4. 16 minus 7 would be 9, and 25 minus 7 would be 18. And those are your two function tables. Okay? Now, we're going to use those to also graph. Okay? Like we said, a linear function graphs on a coordinate plane. So we're going to do these 4 as examples. I'm going to do 2 of them with you, and I want you to do 2 of them on the worksheet that I give you. This is worksheet number 2. Okay? You will need to get worksheet number 2 right now. We're going to go ahead and get started, so you might need to pause the video. Okay? Now, this one is a little bit different. You're going to see the rule at the top. It says y equals x minus 2. And what that means is we have our x values. They're all down here along this line. So we have -5 minus 2. So -5 minus 2. Okay? So you would put -5 minus 2, and -5 minus 2 is -7. Okay? The next one would be 3 minus 2, which happens to be 1. 2 minus 2, which is 0, 7 minus 2, which is 5, and negative 9 minus 2 would be negative 11. Okay, so what we did was we completed the function table, but now we need to graph them. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and graph those on this coordinate plane. You need to make sure you do this as well. So negative 5 is our x value, and negative 7 is our y value. So we find negative 5, and then we go to negative 7 on our graph. So negative 5, negative 7, and we put our first dot there. We also have 3 and 1, so our second dot goes here. We have 2 and 0, which happens to be here. And then we have 7 and 5, which is all the way up here on the right. And finally, we have negative 9, negative 11, which is going to be way down, even off of this chart. So we're going to go ahead and say it is right here. And if that happens to you guys, just don't plot it, but I just wanted to show it to you, negative 9, negative 11. Now, what these should do is they should create a straight line, and you need to use a straight edge and create a straight line. Do not just hand draw it. You need to actually create a straight line. And because it is a line, you need to put arrows on both sides because it means it will go forever both ways. Now, that being said, you need to use a straight edge. Use your ID or your trust card. You can make these straight lines. Okay? I'm also going to show you number 6. We're going to show all 4 of these on the same graph. So on your worksheet, you have 5, 6, 9, and 10 I want on the top, and then I want 7, 8, 11, and 12 on the bottom. Okay, so you have 2 graphs, you're going to put all 4 of them on there. And I'm going to label this one because this is number 5, so I'm just going to label it number 5. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and do number 6. We have y equals x minus 6. So we put in the 7 and we take away 6, so that's 1. 1 minus 6. Well, 1 minus 6, that's $1 of an allowance, and we owe $6. That means you still need to pay me $5, so it's negative 5. 2 minus 6, same thing, would be negative 4. And that is a positive 8 minus 6, well, that would be 2. And negative 2 minus 6, well, that would be minus 8. We need to go ahead and plot these points. 7 and 1. We need to plot 1 and negative 5, which is down here. We need to plot 2 and negative 4. Oops, I didn't do 1 and negative 5, I'm sorry. 1 and negative 5. 2 and negative 4, and finally 8 and 2, which 8 and 2, and finally the last one, negative 2, negative 8, which would be all the way down here. Go ahead and create your line. Remember, it needs to be a straight edge. You should go through all of the points. You need to make sure it has an arrow at the end because it goes on forever. And does it create a straight line? Yes, it does, which means it's a linear equation. Because it creates a straight line, it's a linear equation. All right, those are your 2. I want you guys to go ahead and spend the next couple minutes doing these number 9 and 10. Pause the video, and then check your answers. You can do it on your worksheet. Good luck. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. 2 plus 2 is 4. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Okay, we're going to go ahead and plot 2, 4. Okay, and I'm going to use a different color because this one is your guys'. So let's use blue. Let's do 2, 4. So let's go with 2 and 4. We're going to start here. That's the first one. Go ahead and plot it. Negative 1, 1. And that would have been here. We have negative 8, negative 6. Way down here at the bottom. And we finally have negative 7, negative 5, which is pretty close to being in the same spot. And finally, negative 5, negative 3. It should be right here. Now the question is, did it create a straight line? Well, it definitely should have, because it is a linear equation. So there you go. Okay, all the thing we needed to do that Mr. Williams forgot in the last one, you should label it. This is number 9. This last one was number 6. Okay, so, oops, not 6. 6 down here. All right, we've got one more to go. Number 10. All right, the rule is x minus 4. So 5 minus 4 is 1. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. And 0 minus 4 is negative 4. We're going to go ahead and plot this one as well. And we're going to use one more different color. Let's use green this time, Mr. Williams' least favorite color. 5, 1. Let's see. 3, negative 1, which would be 3, negative 1. Let's see. We also have 8, 4. 8 and 4, which goes here. and 4, 0. Ooh, that one's right on the line. 4 and 0. And finally, our last one is 0, -4, which would be right there. Ladies and gentlemen, you should have plotted the point, drawn your line, using a straight edge, in other words, your ID or your trust card, and voila. Okay, the only other thing that we need to do is label that one, and that is number 10. So we'll go ahead and put that in there as number 10. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all you're doing. You need to do worksheet 2. There's 2 sides. Remember that on number 7, 8, 11, and 12 will go on the coordinate plane below on this side of your worksheet, and then the back side you can do as well. As with any of our videos, if you have any questions, please let me know. Good luck. Have a good day.